Hi everyone! This presentation will walk you through an example scenario to help you prepare for the tourist thought versus cultural reality presentation that you'll give while on site in Iceland. Let's start with an image you've almost certainly seen before, even if you've never been to Iceland. This is the Blue Lagoon. It's the most visited attraction in the country, and it's the picture that sells Iceland to the rest of the world. There's steam rising off pale blue water, black lava at the edges, and you can see here that we've got 4 people with blissed out faces covered with white mud. I want to use this photo to introduce the idea at the centre of this whole assignment, the gap between what a place is sold as and what a place actually is. I'm going to call those two things tourist thought and cultural reality. Watch how far apart they can sit. So the first question, when you looked at that image, what did you assume about that place? Here's what most people come up with. They think that the Blue Lagoon is natural, ancient, wild, healing, pure, magical, a bucket list encounter with Iceland's raw volcanic power, something elemental maybe, and a little bit mystical. If you can sit with those words a second, that would be great, because every one of them is about to be tested. So where do these assumptions come from? They don't appear from nowhere, they're built. So the Blue Lagoon's own website describes the Blue Lagoon as a transformational spa journey. Travel sites such as TripAdvisor rank it among the wonders of the world, and National Geographic actually did name it as one of the 25 wonders of the world in 2012. And then there's the ocean of Instagram, the same shot over and over again, the same mud mass, the same pale blue, a million times over. So the story you're being asked to believe is this, that the Blue Lagoon is a pure, natural, healing, luxurious encounter with the Icelandic landscape. It's a gem, it's elemental, and it's restorative. It's a piece of the country's volcanic soul that you can literally lower yourself into. So if you hold that story in your head, we can now see or take a look at where the water actually comes from. So this is the same place in Iceland, photographed to include the part that's usually cropped out. So this is called the Svartsengi geothermal power station. The Blue Lagoon only exists because of it. So here's the actual sequence of events. In 1976, Svartsengi power station began generating electricity and heating for the surrounding towns by pumping up superheated water from 2 kilometres underground. That water was too mineral rich and corrosive to pipe straight into people's houses, so the plant used its heat and released the runoff into the lava field next door. The runoff then pooled, and silica in the water caught the light and turned it that famous milky blue colour you saw on the Blue Lagoon's website and on the Instagram posts. So let me be clear exactly about what that means. The Blue Lagoon is not ancient. It is probably younger than many of you watching the video. It's not a natural feature. It's actually a pool of geothermal wastewater from a power plant, and for years Icelanders thought the idea of getting into the water and bathing in it was faintly ridiculous. So how did we get from industrial runoff to transformational spa journey? It was mostly through one person. In 1981, a man named Valur Magerisson, who worked at the plant, asked permission to bathe inside the pool. He had a skin condition called psoriasis that made bathing in Iceland's public pools difficult for him, and he had a suspicion that the water might help his condition. It did. Word spread, other people with psoriasis came, scientists got curious about the silica and the algae, and then a company was founded in 1992. So the first proper bathhouse, the hotels, the psoriasis clinic, the Michelin-starred restaurant, all of that came afterwards, and it was all built on top of a happy accident at a power station. That's the real story. And I think maybe you would agree that it's actually a better story. It's stranger, it's more human, and it doesn't rely on that kind of mystical language of the ancient healing waters. So why isn't that story the one on the website? So this is the question that the assignment is really asking. Not what is the true, capital T, truth, what is the true fact? It's not asking that, but why does one version get told and the other version get left out of a narrative? So think about who the tourist story serves. Nature sells, while wastewater doesn't. People fly a long way to Iceland and pay a lot of money to visit, wanting it to feel pure elemental, mystical, and untouched. And if the narrative was perpetuated online, such as you are soaking in filtered runoff from a combined heat and power plant, it doesn't quite fit that fantasy. However good the water is for your skin. So wellness tourism runs on ideas of escape and healing, and getting back to something natural. The industrial origin isn't hidden exactly. You can read about the history of the lagoon on the Blue Lagoon's own website, but it is pushed to the background because the foreground needs to stay magical. And here's the thing I most want you to take from this. The tourist version isn't a lie. The water is real, the silica is real, the psoriasis relief is real, and the place generally is beautiful. Tourist thought usually isn't fake, it's just selective. It emphasizes the parts that sell, and it quietly drops the parts that complicate the narrative. So your job as a critical traveller who will go to Iceland isn't to catch anyone lying, it's simply to notice what gets left out of a story and to ask who benefits from leaving it out. So that's the model of the assignment. It's going to be one site, 2 different stories, and there will be a question about why they differ and who the difference serves. So on the trip, you're going to do exactly this, but with a site you choose yourself, not the Blue Lagoon, and you'll give this presentation while standing right there in front of it. The full prompt, the rubric, and a plan for how to build the assignment and your presentation are written out just below this video. Read on and start thinking now about which of the places on our itinerary you want to take apart.